Do you ever notice how whenever a CS major rolls around, the players' skin inventories suddenly become stacked with some of the most expensive items in the game? Well, there's actually a reason for that, and it's not because the players shelled out some serious cash. It's because you did.
Before we get into today's video, I'd like to thank our sponsor, LG Ultra Gear OLED. If you want to keep up with the rest of the gaming world, you need to check out their brand new 27-inch QHD 480Hz Ultra Gear OLED gaming monitor. It's loaded with features geared towards creating a seamless gaming experience, like astounding speed and refresh rates, vivid OLED picture quality, and future-ready tech via the DisplayPort 2.1 connectivity. Forget about the lag, frame stutters, and screen tearing. The future of gaming is here. The LG Ultra Gear 27-inch QHD 480Hz refresh rate OLED gaming monitor with DisplayPort 2.1 connectivity is now available for pre-order at LG.com. Check out the link in the description. And now, let's get back to today's video.
Alright, so you may have noticed this trend in recent years where every time there's a Counter-Strike major, a lot of the players in attendance out of nowhere become whales boasting the craziest inventories. Like, we're talking knives, gloves, AKs, and ops that run thousands upon thousands of dollars. But in spite of literally living and breathing Counter-Strike and often having the paychecks to satisfy, more often than not, these pros don't actually own these skins. They borrow them. You see, a few years back when skins really started to skyrocket in price, it became unfeasible for, well, basically anyone to actually buy some of them. Even your everyday high tier like a Butterfly Sapphire or Dragon Lore went from costing thousands to tens of thousands. But the really special stuff, souvenir Dragon Lores, blue gems, Cato crafts, became six-figure investments. The type of stuff that you only had if you were an OG day one collector who've been sitting on them for tens of years, or, like Neymar, were so indescribably rich that money wasn't an object. But most people are not Neymar. Even professional players, who I might add are usually paid very handsomely, can't just casually dish out $250,000 for a f***ing op. But what they can do, better than anyone, is flex that op.
Such a back and forth. Manassi in the clutch now with 47 seconds. Lurking in the smoke. Movistar trying to move together. Oh, that's such a fast one. Down goes Alex. And of course Manassi gets both of them. They couldn't trade the frag. And that is worst case scenario versus Manassi.
If you're a collector and you own a god tier skin that you can basically only ever brandish in Faceit Pugs, what better way to show it off to the entire world than by lending it to a world-class competitor who's going to play with it on a stream that could be watched by hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Prime example is Dimitri. He had the honor of lending ZywOo his Gungnir for the Stockholm Major back in 2021. He used it on the main stage, and as Dimitri wants me to remind everyone, killed Simple with it in the quarterfinals.
Vitality, bomb now ticking in their favor. That smoke will delay them. ZywOo patrolling. And it's a first onto Simple, no less.
ZywOo was also kind enough to use one of his knives at the Antwerp Major in 2022, which Dimitri plastered his Twitter handle across because, quote, he thought it would be funny. But what's also funny is that this was sort of the catalyst to actually getting ZywOo into skin borrowing. We know this because, well, he told us.
You're obviously very into skins now. I feel like you didn't used to be. And I feel like the story that I heard after you borrowed my op, Xavier basically reached out to me and was like, yo, ZywOo, he really liked that. Like, he wants some cool skins now. And now every time I watch you, you have a sick fucking inventory.
Things, you know, a lot of people, so he give me kind of contact with them. I feel like if I was a kid, it's almost my best dream, having skin, being professional.
What's better than that, man?
Before, I was so happy to have like a god knife. Right now I can ask anything I want and people borrow me, so it's not the same thing. Yeah, you can just borrow every knife you want. People don't care because you are ZywOo or Simple or whatever, but you can have everything you want now.
As you can see, the pros enjoy it as much as the collectors. I mean, there are certain players who have become famous over the years for consistently flexing borrowed items, like Simple or Manassi, which is sick. So many dream of seeing their favorite skin in the hands of their favorite player. The question is, how do you get there? It doesn't go without saying that most people don't have a salaried professional of their choosing on their Steam friends list. There's just not a lot of ways for those connections to happen, organically or otherwise. So, someone thought, why not give people away? And then did. Skins for Pros is a community-run Discord server that is designed to give collectors and competitors a way to safely borrow skins. It was ideated and reputed by adored skin aficionado Zipple, and one of the community managers, a guy named Nap, who actually runs it. In fact, if you're interested in knowing the full story of the server, Nap actually did an interview with a creator named KBusy where he talks about it at length. Now, the server is invite only, so I'm not going to post screenshots of what it looks like, but it works in accordance with the supply and demand structure. Pros can post what they're looking for, say a butterfly ruby to match their crimson kimonos. And if someone has what they want, they fill out an order to then lend it. Alternatively, collectors can post what they have, and if a pro's interested, they'll reach out. It's also important to note that anything that does get lent out is tracked in the server itself. This means that there is a written record of what's exchanged hands in order to keep everything organized and protect the parties involved. Understandably, you'll start to see the server ramp up in use right before a big event like Cologne or a major, because that's where players want to look their best and where collectors want to say their skins have been used. At the end of the day, that's sort of what this entire server is about. The thrill of seeing a piece of your personality on the biggest stage our esport has to offer. And it's because of that in just 2 short years, the server has skyrocketed in popularity. The majority of active professionals are members of this thing, and many of them use it quite regularly. It's honestly really cool that the skin collecting community gets to not only contribute to the esports scene, but in some ways help shape it. Imagine if the next Falling Off or Graffiti Caliber play was performed with your skin. How incredible would that be? 2 things have allowed for Counter-Strike to live for as long as it has: skins and the community. What this server has engendered is a way for those 2 things to come together and create a sense of collaboration. And who knows, maybe it will be your op that writes history.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.